Hello, my beautiful creatures. I love how every time I'm recording this podcast in a very lazy way, I always started with hello, like extending my words. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good. For those watching this on YouTube, I look like crap. My room looks like crap. I know. Don't say anything. Do not cast your judgment upon me. My room is a hot mess. I'm still in the process of moving in. I finally have a bed. It is extremely uncomfortable because I always just put a mattress topper on top of it because I don't know what kind of bed my mom got, but it's extremely stiff, and so it kills my back. But my mom's dog shitted all over it and peed, and so I threw out the comforter, I threw out the bed, the topper. I was getting a new comfort anyway, so it was whatever. But the principle of it, I didn't, those horrible dogs piss and crap smells, I wasn't keeping that. So now I'm just waiting for my new one to come in. So I've been dealing in pain lately, but that's fine. I freaking had a long day. I woke up at 6 a.m. Mind you, this is my day off. I woke up at 6 a.m. voluntarily on my own day off because I had stuff I needed to get done this morning, work to do. I needed to take my grandma to the DMV by 9, which turns out our appointment was in May, and I completely forgot because I made it. And so that was a waste of time. And then we had to go to the tax place, which turns out wasn't the place we needed to go anyway. And so I had a very little time to eat. And technically speaking, I wasn't supposed to eat past 9 o'clock, but it was 9:30. I was I'm hungry. So my grandma and I went to First Watch, which is my favorite place. And of course, I got the two things I'm really not allowed to eat, which is eggs and gluten. But that's all eat at First Watch. So my stomach was killing me after that. But the reason I wasn't allowed to eat was because I had an ultrasound today. Which every single person who heard that I was getting ultrasound, and first thought was, "Are you pregnant?" I'm not a virgin lesbian, so don't really know what's going on there in their minds. But yeah, and so no, the ultrasound was just to see any problems that I may be having with my stomach, if it's my kidney or my gallstones or my livers. Hopefully nothing, because I don't have the energy to be having legitimate problems besides the ones I already have now, which aren't really that big of problems. I just over stress and stuff of everything. And so now I actually went to Barnes & Noble's, guys. I know I'm not allowed to go because even 5 minutes is dangerous for me, as we saw today, because basically one of my favorite authors, Anna Huang, released her new book, King of Envy, and I found out about it while I was at First Watch, because I had forgotten the day it was going to be released, and I at First Watch on my grandma, and I had one on my Instagram to post an Instagram story, and I saw it, and we were literally across the street from Barnes & Noble, so I called, had them put the book on hold, and I went in to get it, and as I was getting it, the guy was like, "Oh, just so you know, this one is buy one, get one half off," and I was like, "Well, that's a good deal," and I was like, "Well, I don't know what other book I should get." I didn't have time to, do my usual wrap around the stores and look-sees, because my grandma was waiting for me. And she was in a rush to, get home. And so he, presented me with two that were, current book of the month picks with Barnes & Noble's. And I love them both so much. I was like, you know what? I'll just get all three and then I'll get another one. So I went and took a quick look around, the front tables. And the one I ended up picking was one he was also going to recommend. And so I ended up leaving with 4 books. And I was there for 5 minutes. 4 books in 5 minutes. And it was insane. But I saved $20. So I think I did a great thing. Anyway, I'm halfway through Anna's book. It's 500 pages. I'm proud of myself, right? I've already read 300 pages, which I'm sad because it's so good. And I read all of Anna's books, every single one except for King of Sloth, because I don't know, the idea of the guy being lazy to me, it irritates me. Also, I'm not I don't really care for the female MC's character, because the cool thing about her books is everyone in them, from the King to the Twisted series, all exist within the same realm. So you always hear about the other person in one of the other books. So I've seen the other girl in 2 or 3 of the other books. So I didn't really care about her, to be fair. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Let's start today's episode. Oh wait, guys, I don't know if any of you are Star Wars fans, but they re-released Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and that's my favorite one. And so I got tickets to go see that tonight. So I'm taking myself out on a little date, which would be nice. I used to love going to the movies by myself when I was in college, so that'll be something to try again and do again, and that'll be really fun. I don't think I've done that since I've gotten here, and so I think that'll be very, very nice for me. But yeah, okay. So today's topic, we're talking about building positive relationships. It's something that I've been really trying to work on. Ever since I really moved to Texas is when I've really been trying to push it a bit more, because ever since I moved here, things have really changed for me. And I definitely feel like I have gotten way grumpier, way more irritated very quickly. I don't feel myself anymore, if I should say that, when I'm not by myself. And even when I'm by myself, I feel a bit moody, because, a lot's happened to me with the post-grad and struggling to find a job, and then finding a job and hating said job. And that's one of the biggest parts of the shift in my mood. I'm at a place that I already dread, that causes me pure irritation and honest, not anger, but like pisses me off very quickly, because two things that I hate. Two of my biggest pet peeves are incompetence and ignorance, and everyone at that job has all of those traits. Besides like a few people who I mess around with, I like them, but everyone else, I hate it. The customers, I hate them. My bosses, I hate them. Some of my coworkers, I don't hate them, but I can't stand them. And so I have really been trying to work on just taking more time for myself and trying to do more things to feel a bit more positive. We already know I'm trying to eat a lot more, which has already been a stress of mine because of my struggles and stuff like that. So like me just reading, trying to get back into reading more, watching new TV shows and new movies and trying to get into that. I started crocheting again. For those watching, I'm currently wearing a headband that I crocheted. Don't look at the back of it. It's horrible. But I've been trying to work on completing my projects when it comes to crocheting. But just finding new things and really committing and getting better at getting my work done, and committing to my podcast and film and writing especially. It's still hard, it's still difficult for me because I struggle with focus and stuff like that and my attention span, but I've been really trying to put in the work, and it's only going to get better and stronger every day. That being said, because I'm putting effort into all these other areas of my life, something that I need to put effort into is the relationships that I have. And I personally, myself, I've always been a bit of a loner. I'm going to say a bit of a loner. I'm very much a loner. I've always called myself a lone wolf. I've always enjoyed being by myself. Now, the thing with that is, please ignore whoever's talking in the background. They're so fucking loud. I don't understand this. But whatever. Sorry. See, this is something I get irritated so quickly, and the littlest thing irritates me. And I was never this way when I lived in Florida. Stuff would piss me off every once in a while, but I was very, very positive when I lived in Florida. When I was still in school, I was very positive. Now I feel like I'm a fucking pessimist, and it's actually driving me insane. But yeah, so when I was younger, going into middle school and stuff like that, probably after my first year in middle school, so 6th grade, after that, I very saw a shift in myself. I became way more guarded, way more quiet. For some reason, I just started really hating myself. I just think I was stupid, probably because I think that's when my sister and I were split into classes, and my school made it a very big show of separating us. Like, I'm not saying like it was like it was a very, very big show. I mean, like pulling us out of class. So like, oh, you're going to go into these classes now. Like, you're doing like to show that we were being separated, but they're putting her in higher classes because they didn't think I was smart enough to be in those classes and stuff like that. So I kind of created a divide, and there was like all this just different things happening. And then I struggled to make friends in her regard. I had a few friends who, in school and stuff like that, but what I wanted wasn't great. And then me and Tay weren't really as close as I would have liked it, and then I was having struggles with my parents and with my family and internally, and so I pretty much burrowed into myself, and I became, I was like, I can only really rely on myself and have myself as an emotional friend and as my friend, and totally, even though I hated myself, I was my biggest bully, but that's kind of how it was. And I now, looking back, realize, while there were a lot of times where I was left out, a lot of the times I left myself out, which is a difference. I pushed people away because it was easier just to push them away first so they couldn't push me away, kind of thing. I tended to feel rejected a lot, and I think that was something I was rejecting who I was as a person, so I think I was like portraying, like, what's that called? Portraying or like pushing that onto other people. And so that's what I immediately kind of saw going in. And so because of that, I took on this loner persona, and I learned to be by myself and get good at being by myself and trying to take on just hobbies where I didn't have to be involved and communicate with anyone. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big reader. I've always been a reader ever since I was a very small kid. Ever since elementary school, I was always into reading. Me and Tay both were. But really, when I was in middle school is when I became obsessive. I spent all day in the library when I could, or in Barnes and Nobles. If I was at lunch, I would stay in the library. If I didn't have recess, but like after school, I'd go to the library before school, stuff like that. It was my way of that. Like, books were my friends. It was my way of feeling like everything was okay if I was living in what I was reading, which was great, but obviously had its challenges. It kept me very sheltered to myself, and also I felt, now looking back, I'm not someone who's good with emotion. I'm doing air quotes around that because it is and I'm not. It's weird. I'm very empathetic, I say. I'm very good at understanding my own feelings. I was always very in tune to it. If I was feeling something, I immediately knew what it was, or if I didn't, I knew how to dissect it with myself. It's a bit more difficult now that I'm not as like insistent on understanding all my feelings at every second of every day. I needed to at that time because I was trying to fix myself, because I wanted to kill myself. So I needed to fix. Who's at the door? The front door is open. Why are we ringing doorbells? Anyway, but yeah, so I hated who I was, and I was very, not mentally okay. And so I needed to understand what I was feeling at all times, so I knew how to help myself, because I had such bad anxiety problems. It was like I had back in October. I'm not great with interviews. I don't like doing them. And so when I was interviewing for the job I had, even though the job necessarily isn't a big deal, it was very simple. I don't like talking to people, especially people I don't know, and especially I don't like talking to people about me when I don't even know you in the first place. So I had a like huge impending fear of anxiety. Like it was horrible, and it wasn't anything compared to what I used to feel on a constant daily basis. And I remember thinking, like, how did I go through this every single day? And back then it was worse. And so because of that, like I, really just kept to myself. And so now that I'm older and out, that's where I was going with that. I realized, because I kept to myself, I never would tell anybody about this stuff. And even now that I'm older, I still don't. When I'm still having these problems, when I'm still having these anxiety, unless someone asks me about it, like outright, I'm not going to go and be like, hey, so I'm feeling really sad, or I'm feeling like I hate myself. Like, I will at certain times, like when I'm like really like needing advice, I'll usually go to my mom or my sister Shola. Usually the two people I really only go to. Sometimes I'll go to my twin, but she's not someone I love type, but she's not great at the whole emotion thing. She's very like straight to the point. This is how it is, and I hate that. If sometimes I need it, if I need a little push, but most times when I'm emotional, it's not what I need. But yeah, and so I was never good at taking on other people's emotions, I suppose you could say, because I was too busy kind of just dealing with my own. And so when people cry around me, like, okay, I feel like this is making me sound weird. What I mean, I can comfort people. I can comfort my friends. I can make people feel better. I can give advice. I can talk to people when I know them and when I love them. When I don't know you and you start crying around me, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna kind of look at you and be like, oh, there. I'm gonna tell you. Have you guys ever seen it's not Bridgerton, it's Queen Charlotte's show, and it's when she was like, it's like in the present time, and she was with all of her kids, and I guess one of her kids' wives had died, and she's like, sorrows, prayers. That's how I am when it comes to people I don't know who start crying around me or having emotion. Like, I was in church the other day. I haven't gone back, to be fair, but I went once. I'm trying to find new churches to, be more spiritually in tune. But I went in and we watched a live stream. Like, I'm like, bitch, I can watch YouTube if all it is. I don't gotta leave my bed. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, while we were there, I'm used to being in massive churches. The church I used to go to, Church by the Glade, it was huge. Okay, so when you're by people, you're not really focused on anyone else. It's because there's so much happening in front of you. On stage, it was a small room. There were just two girls who were singing, and like the band and the people near me, and there wasn't a whole bunch of people. There was a good amount, but not a whole bunch. And the girl on stage just started like gets on her knees and starts crying, like as she's singing. And the other girl's like clutching her pearls and crying while they're singing this Jesus song. And people around me are crying, and I was I'm like, what the fuck are we crying for? Like, I get it, we're feeling the Lord, we're feeling the Spirit, but why are we crying? It was stressing me out, because obviously that's anyone's relationship with God. I'm never going to judge that, but I just didn't know what to do. Like, I was like, am I supposed to be crying or not? I'm so confused. And and so yeah, that's meaning said, I am trying to improve in terms of opening up to people. because like I said, I am a loner. I keep to myself. I self-isolate. That's the way I deal with things. And because of that, I push away people who may or may not want to help me or who want to be there for me. I kind of automatically assume that no one cares, I think was the biggest thing. And it's one of the reasons why I prefer being by myself. I feel like when I'm around other people, I can't be myself. Even with my family. You know, I'm myself, but to an extent, I guess you could say. Whereas, like, for instance, example, when I'm by myself, I'm very chill. I mean, obviously I have my, like, you know, moments where I'm like, and running around my room, but, you know, I have the zoomies. It's like my cat sometimes. We're similar in that way. But I can just chill. I don't have to think about anything. I can stay silent. I don't feel the need to talk. I don't feel the need to do anything. I don't feel the need to think. You know, I can just be there, present or not. When I'm with other people, though, when I'm with my family, you know, I'm myself, you know, in a way. I'm you know, there, but sometimes I'm questioning, am I being annoying? Am I talking a little bit too much? Am I not talking enough? Is anyone paying attention to anything I'm saying, which usually is not the case. I get talked over very, very quickly, which it actually very much, it upsets me, to be fair. I'll be talking and then someone will cut me off, and then other people will start cutting me off, and I'll like keep trying to forget what I was saying. I will literally say out loud, no one's listening, and no one will even realize that I fucking said no one's listening, because no one listens to me, which is probably why I don't listen to anyone else either. I kind of just tune everybody out now, because at a certain point I'm like, why the fuck do I care what you guys are talking about? I don't care what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So with my family, I'm already dealing with that sometimes. And I love my family. It's nothing like that. And obviously there are times when I'm very much involved in the conversation, but there are other many times when I'm trampled over, like I'm not even there. And then when it comes to talking to people I don't know, it's all of a sudden, okay, I don't have, unless it's like it's someone cool who I'm just vibing with, it's usually, which is usually not the case, it's always me thinking, okay, what do I say next? Coming up with topics in my head to talk to. I'm someone who enjoys silence. I don't like awkward and uncomfortable silences, though. I will force myself to sit through them, because I'm like, if I don't want to talk, I'm not going to talk. Simple as that. I will sit in an uncomfortable silence. But I'd rather just not be with you at all if it's going to be in an uncomfortable silence. And so now, like, it kind of stresses me out. And a lot of times I'm like, am I doing too much? Am I interrupting too much? Am I talking too much? Am I paying attention enough? Like, am I doing this? It stresses me out. And I hate being stressed out, because I'm already stressed out enough as it is. And, you know, the best part of not being with people is that I'm not going to get stressed out. And I really lack anxiety when I'm by myself. If I'm anxious, it's usually for a reason, or maybe just me having a weird day. But if I'm with other people, usually when I'm the most anxious and by myself is when I'm not. Now that I'm like more mentally, you know, stable. And the crazy is, I do love spending time with people. And that's the weird thing. Like, I love being by myself, but at the same time, I love spending time with my family and being around them and stuff. And what I really think it is, and it's weird, because most people think when you're alone and you're a loner, and I'm okay with being alone. I love being alone, but just because I like being alone doesn't mean I don't get lonely, I guess you should say. And it happens where there's times where it's like there's something will happen and I want to tell someone, and I don't know who I should tell. Or because even I have my best friend, and that's probably one of the reasons why she is my best friend, is because besides with her, we literally share the same brain. So I feel exactly who I am when I'm with her, just chilling. I won't say shit. She won't say shit. We just chill. One of us got something to say. We say it. We go back to doing what we gotta do. There's never been a moment where I haven't wanted to be around Charlize, which is wonderful. And Amy, but definitely Charlize. And I think that's why we click so well. And we're literally we're literally carbon copies of each other. We both share the brain cell, obviously. Both art majors. We both do photography. We both love Formula One. We both love baseball. The baseball is her fault, though. I love baseball because of her. We both are lactose intolerant. We both have a gluten intolerance. We both suffer from horrible anxiety. And we both love doing nothing, which is wonderful, because half the time we don't have any money anyway, and we're just like, do we really want to go somewhere? And we could like sit and we can watch The 100, or we can watch Rain, or we can watch freaking Once Upon. All our shows that we love is the exact same. That's it, which is perfect. Bridgerton, you, like everything. She just doesn't like shoving pointing things, so nothing gory. But besides that, we're good. And so yeah, so I do get lonely, and I think that's another thing that's been really pushing me. I want I don't want to feel lonely. I want, and it's weird because people always question, especially lately, the status of relationships for me, which is non-existent. And even though people have been questioning whether or not I'm even pregnant, I don't really understand that, but I think it's just shock for them more than anything. But the question is, yes, I do want to be in a relationship. I want to get in a relationship. I want to fall in love with someone. I want to be with someone. I want to have kids with someone, which is so surprising to my family that I want to have kids. Apparently, because I told them that I didn't like kids. I do like kids. I just don't like stupid kids. My kid's going to be fucking amazing. My kid's going to be a saint. My kid's going to be a godsend, No, let me stop. But yeah, but I'm really big on not wasting my time. They all think that I'm going to be a virgin forever. They all say that I'm never going to marry. They all say I'm going to stay home forever. They say all these things. My thing is, I mean, obviously, trial and error for anyone. That's completely fine. But I'm not someone to go out looking for the relationship. I'm not going to hop on a dating website. Those scare me murderers. But also, I just don't care enough to go out and look for it. I'm someone, when it happens, and that's what I'm waiting for. God has a plan for me, and that's when I'm going to go. Because like I said, I'm good enough on my own to be on my own, but I don't, and so, yeah, I think I'm getting off topic. Anyway, so that's in that, because I do want to be in a relationship, and I get lonely in those certain ways, because even with my best friend, I'm very big on, I don't want to bother anyone. Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden, and even when I'm having the hardest moments, I feel very uncomfortable talking about my feelings. There are things with, Charlize that I can talk about, and that's fine. If I'm really having a moment where I need to talk, I can talk to her and it's easy. But I don't know, I feel embarrassed to talk about how I feel. If I'm sad or if I'm not doing great mentally, I'd rather be suicidal than talk to someone about how I'm sad. Like, that's how bad it is. Which I'm not suicidal, guys. I don't want to fucking die anymore. But yeah, that got depressing quick. No, let me stop. And I don't know, because I just feel like they don't care deep down, because everyone's going through their own thing, and I'm someone who, I mean, obviously that's probably not true, that's my own brain thinking that, but I'm someone who, I'm very extra when it comes to the people I love, because I'm very okay with having very few people in my circle. I take my relationships with these people very seriously. So I am the friend to go and text like, hey, how you doing? I just want to make sure you're okay. If you need to talk, I'm here, yada, 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 yada. I've always been that way. I feel like very intuitive. I've always been that person I feel like people can talk to, which is why people talk to me. I've never, before, Charlize and stuff like that, I've never really felt like I've had that. And not to say that my family haven't checked on me, and I do have friends who do check up on me and stuff like that. It's just been like a recent development, and I think that's another reason why I really want to start working on building these more positive and interactive relationships. I've been working on doing more with the people that I love, whether it's movie nights. My friend and I, we went to the museum the other day. Another friend of mine, I actually need to text her back. I just realized I don't think I ever texted her back this morning. We're meeting up to, my brother called me twice. Hope it's not an emergency. Yeah, I doubt it would be. He would have texted. But yeah, we're meeting up next week to hang out and just meet up and talk. And that to me is very important, because that's what's going to keep me going in the long run. There are so many times when I'm feeling just hopeless about my situation, and then I go out and I hang out with someone and it make me feel better, So I have a bit of a plan, guys. Hold on. Let me go to my notes. Hey, okay. So my first thing is I'm doing a field day with my family in my house. Honestly, just my family in total. I should just be planning a whole big field day, because apparently we're all fucking stressing each other out for some reason. I don't understand what's going on. That's probably another reason why I'm going crazy. Everyone's always mad at each other. So I'm planning a field day. Nothing probably like physical, I guess you see. So it's not really a field day, because everyone had like bad knees and backs, but something fun that we can kind of bond with, something here in the house, and something with like all of my siblings who tolerate each other enough to be there. I want to find more ways, plan more. I always call myself the party planner of whatever friend groups I've been in. So that was always the one who made sure we did stuff, especially my junior year of college. I literally I was the head of our yearbook committee, and I was the only member of the yearbook committee that I created for my friend group. Because literally it was so majority of my friends were older than me. All of them are actually older than me. Tay and I are the youngest of my friend group. And so our junior year was the senior year for a good portion of our friends. And I knew that, once they get into the real world, it's going to be a lot harder for us to hang out and stuff like that. Some of them, it's an international school. Some of them are going home. Some of them, and so I made sure that year, we did a bunch of random stuff, whether it was playing baseball in the middle of the night, whether it was skateboarding, going to the beach. We would do movie nights. I had us do game nights. It was like a lot of random stuff. And so what I would do was every single time we hung out, every single event that I planned, every time I just happened to run into someone, I'd take a selfie with them. And then every time I shout yearbook, I got that from the Kissing Booth. Every time I shout yearbook, everyone had to stop. We all smile. We'll take a photo. And at the end of the year, I literally went on Canva and I created this entire 15-page yearbook. Everyone had their own bio. All the pictures were lined up. Everyone had their own little saying thing, like an actual yearbook. I did polls and little the smartest in the friend group, the best dress, the best rapper, stuff like that. I had little pages of fun events that we did, game nights, stupid shit that we got into, stuff like that. And that was just a combination of all of our college life over the last, for me it was 2 years, for them it was 3 to 4 depending on which photos they gave me. And then at the end of it, I had them all printed out. Anyone who wanted the digital copy, I sent it to them digitally. Anyone who wanted a physical copy, I had it printed out physically, spiraled, and then I handed out them all, and we all signed each other's yearbooks. And it was such a cute moment. It was so much fun. And I think if I put myself into that kind of space again, where I genuinely try to keep things positive, I think, not to chip on my shoulder or anything, but I'm kind of the life of the party, guys. And I'm not even saying this as myself. I've been told this. When so me and Tay, with us being friends, we have friends who are twins. We have these two friends, Christian and Isaiah. Hi guys. But they had a birthday party. And Charlize and Eileen were cool with them, and I think I was working one night, and so I was going to be there later than everyone else. And so Tay and Charlize and Eileen, they were already there, and when I got there, everyone, there was music playing, but everyone was kind of just chilling. There was nothing happening. I was like, what, is this a party? What are we doing? And I'm not someone who likes to party. I prefer to stay in my humble abode. I don't club, but if I'm going to go out and party, I'm going to have fun. And so I was like, what are we doing? They were like, well, nothing's really happening. We're all kind of just chilling. I was like, absolutely not. So I turned on the song I could jam to, and I just got in the middle floor. And I can't dance. My dancing is, if you guys have ever seen The Fresh Prince, just Will Smith there, just like a jamming kind of thing. And everyone, once you started dancing, we all started really having fun. And Tay and then went to me, they were like, dude, thank you. Christian went to me like, bro, thank you. I made us do stuff because it's fun. And so I think if I take and channel all of that into my life now, because I've said, I haven't been feeling myself. I haven't been feeling the most positive. I have been feeling a pessimist. I have been a bit of a downer to myself, and I don't like that. It doesn't sit well with me. And I think the way, and I feel like a lot of us have been getting on each other's nerves, and I think the way, for me at least, is to better things, is to bring us all together, have us do fun things. I don't enjoy being the mediator. I've spent my entire life, I was always a mediator for somebody, usually my parents or my siblings or stuff like that. I was that kind of bridge. That's a horrible movement for me to be making. Oh my god. Anyway, and so that was tasking, it was emotional, and I don't want that responsibility, but I do. It kind of is if no one does it, then no one will. Someone to step up. And so for me, at least, I don't want to take on anyone's problems, and I'm not here to, everyone's a fucking adult, I'm not here to baby y'all. I'm not here to bridge any gaps. You want to talk, you're upset, you talk to each other. I've been caught in people's drama before, because I've been pulled into it to be like, oh, can you just talk to this person? Can you help us think? No, why am I doing this? And then other people are getting mad at me for me relaying a message to the other person. I didn't even change anything. I wrote it down so I wouldn't get it wrong. How? But yeah, so like I said, I want to build my relationships. I want to build them positively. I've already done what I had to do. I've always told anyone who I needed to tell how I feel about certain things. I do not really shelter my words anymore. I filter them, yes, but I'm very straightforward now. I've spent so many years hiding behind my own fears and my own anxieties, and I've let people walk all over me. I let people say whatever they want. Maybe that's why I'm a bit more of a pessimist now, because I'm I just don't fucking care to be nice about it. But I think if I like I said, it's going to be slow and steady. It's not a race, it's a marathon. But, just, finding fun things to do with each and every person, finding a way to kind of bond with everyone and then kind of bring everyone together. Starting with my twin, we decided that we were going to, like, once a week do something with just the two of us. Because we really have, which is funny, we rarely ever really do anything with just the two of us. And my birthday was wonderful because me and her, we got our nails done together, and then we went to dinner together. And that to me meant so much, just being able to sit. I'm very emotionally attached to my twin. Anyone who knows me is very easy to tell that. But we haven't always gone along, which has always been a really hard thing for me. My ears are like ringing right now. And so, like, that's my first step, that, and with my dad, because our relationship is kind of rocky, and so we're kind of starting with that too. We don't live in the same state, so it's just just phone calls and checking on each other, which has been nice. When I visit, doing stuff with my mom, I just want to spend more time with my mom because I love her so much, and she's just always so busy, and I love her so much. And with my grandma, who I feel like I've been very snappish towards sometimes, which I feel bad about, but she's also snappish. We're all so snappish toward each other, and I hate it. I just get very impatient sometimes, and I have to learn to be patient because she's getting older, and I love her. And sometimes jokes aren't funny, not the jokes that I tell, jokes you tell, but that's besides the point. Anyway, but I say so I'm gonna start planning some more events, some more outings, movie nights and stuff like that, if you will. I think that would be very fun and very cool. And like calling like distant family. And by distant family, I mean like my siblings who don't live near me, like location wise distance. Not like I'm not talking to my aunts and cousins. I don't care about. Okay, that's not right to say. I do care about them. I just don't care to contact them or have interactions with or relationships with. Like, sounds wrong, but I don't care. I have a very large family. I just don't care. There are very few nieces and nephews, very few cousins. If I'm being quite honest, but we're gonna move on from that kind of toxic topic. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with that. I'm excited for this one thing. I also hate it so much, meeting new people. Now that I'm in a new state, I want to. All my friends live in Florida. All of my babies, all of my lives and my lives. I somehow managed to get over my dislike of not having fun, making friends and talking to people, like my last year in Florida, and that's when I made all my friends and really got close to people I've known for years, which is great. It's wonderful. It's something I haven't had before, and I love it. But I want to make friends here, people I can hang out with here. Obviously, I have my one friend from college who's here. I made a friend here who I've been hanging out with, but I've started going back to film events. I feel like I haven't been to one film event. I'm going to one this week though. Because I hate going to like different events and going out and meeting people. I hate the uncomfortableness of going up to someone and introducing myself. It's so weird. Even though at film events, that's what we're all here for, I don't like doing it, and I never do it. I usually wait until someone to come up to me, which doesn't actually take me long, which I've learned from every event I go to. Maybe about after like a couple minutes of me being there, 10 max, someone always comes up to me. Maybe I'm just like that kind of, like, maybe I'm just that bitch, you know what I mean? Like, I'm alluring, you know? But someone always usually comes up to me, and then I talk, and we talk, and then we kind of, sometimes we'll hang together, and we'll go up together and talk to other people. But other times, like the last one I went, 2 girls just came up to me, and then a couple other girls came up, and then one of the other girls I met at other events, and then we all formed a group. We all sat and talked for an hour. It was great. We made a group chat, which was wonderful. And then now we're all going to hang out at the event happening this week. And I think it would be a great way, networking wise, having people in film and writing and stuff like that in Houston is great for me, but also making new friends in my field who can understand certain things, and hopefully will lead into more serious relationships in terms of just friendships and being able to hang out and get a cup of coffee, stuff like that. I need to work on my people skills, my communication skills, and so I think that building those positive relationships with just not just random people, but with my family, I think that would really. Personally, I feel like I've rambled and been so incoherent this entire episode, and for those who've kept up with it, I love you guys. You guys are stars, because I don't even keep up with it, as you can tell. But I think creating these little environments and these little enjoyments for myself and these relationships will help me more than I think it will help, honestly, the relationships. I think I'm starting to lose touch of who I am as a person, and I think a part of me is very much tied into the people around me, and if I don't have something there, what all do I have? I don't want to just be by myself. I like being by myself, and I like it to be optional. I like that. I like to be like, okay, I'm going to go in my room now. Bye. But I want to be able to be like, hey, come hang out with me. And I don't want there to ever be bad blood or to ever feel like I can't go and talk to certain people because I've let our relationships, strain or get, I was going to say this, like a synonym of the word strain, but stuff like that. And so, yeah. So for those who understood what I was telling to say, I planned this episode out. Like, I wrote notes. I really thought it through. I don't think I processed it word-wise out of my brain, out of my mouth. As it's been a long day, guys. I've been awake for a long time today. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'm honestly gonna be late to my brother's birthday party. I'm only gonna be there for like 30 minutes because I have tickets to see Star Wars tonight, which is probably not the best for starting great relationships. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on and listening and making it through 35 minutes of my incoherent speaking. I love you guys so much. I'm excited to talk with you guys this Friday. I will be releasing an episode because I wanted to do a fun, like, silly episode, but I didn't want to, like, not waste, because it wouldn't be a waste, but I felt like it would be wrong of me to put them out on a day where I usually do episodes like this. And so this Friday, I'm putting out like a little fun, silly, goofy mood. Something I've always wanted to do, something I'm obsessed with watching. I've always wanted to do it, so stay tuned. This Friday it'll be coming out. Make sure you guys all follow my social medias. For those following me, I have been trying so hard. I've been posting every day on all of my social medias. Because I for a long time, I haven't even known the names of my social medias. And I've been posting on them. I've been creating fun content. So follow me on all of my social medias, my podcast page, of course. Every one of you should be following me. Every one of you should be following me. But like, that's on my mind. If you're not following me, fake. What the fuck? What are we doing here, guys? 3 years we've been together. What, did we not even know each other? But yeah. So follow me on my podcast, my personal Instagram, and my filmmaking Instagram, which has been fun. I'm trying to get into. If anyone here in Houston needs a videographer, a photographer, hit me up. I need money. I'm poor. I'm very poor. Oh, okay, that's actually a very not great thing to say. Financially, yes, but like in life, I'm not. I have a lot of things actually. But yeah, okay, I love you guys so much. Today's Marlo's birthday, so happy birthday, Marlo, my little baby. I bought him all these new cat toys and like this little cat, like playpen and a cat tree. He's loving the playpen. I literally told my parents when I opened, I was like, I promise you, he's not gonna go in this. I have to get him under control because he'll just be rolling around in it, and it's a small one that's like kind of like a square. It's small, and he can like move it around, like roll in it. And he leaves all his toys everywhere. I mean, the man's messing up my room. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I will talk to you guys all on Friday. Oh my god, my stomach is killing me because I decided to eat pancakes and toast. And that was at 8 this morning. I know the person who did my ultrasound was like, bitch, I told you not to eat 6 hours before. And I can still see food. I don't know how long it takes to see food in the stomach, like how long it takes to like digest. I'm rambling now. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.